discussing today the case, Who Has Time for This? Negotiating Roles in Instructional Supervision and Evaluation. So this is Chris Willis, Assistant Professor at Bowling Green State University in Bowling Green, Ohio. I co-authored this case with Dr. Kyle Ingle at the University of Louisville. My background is, as I said, as assistant professor at Bowling Green State. Prior to being in higher ed, I worked as a school administrator for several years. My research agenda really focuses around the overlap between innovative instructional environments and educational policy. And so this case comes to us out of my educational policy realm. So this case really came about as a result of some work that Dr. Ingle and I have been doing around the new teacher evaluation model as a response to NCLB waivers for the state of Ohio. And many states are involved in that same process, and we're seeing statewide teacher evaluation systems coming into place. And as we were doing that work, we had a conversation about some of the real interesting kind of nuances that occur within this implementation of this statewide evaluation system that really become interesting fodder for kind of a case study analysis. And naturally, as soon as we said those words kind of came out of our mouths, we immediately thought, well, we ought to write up a case based on our work for JCEL because it's such a great reference for us. We both use it in our teaching on a regular basis, and so it was a natural fit for us in that regard. For professors or instructors that are using this particular case, I use cases like this in courses that are aligned with notions of instructional supervision. I actually have a course that I teach that Dr. Ingle used to teach when he was here at Bowling Green State that really focuses in on that supervision of teachers and their instructional development and includes the evaluation of teachers as a part of that. I think there's some elements also within this case that would really make sense for professors working in institutions that have class coursework or units focused around the collective bargaining process or the negotiation process between teachers and administrators. For practitioners looking at using this case, I think the fact that so many school districts and states across the country are faced with new evaluation systems, and the fact that now we are in a case in many situations, as is the case in Ohio, that every teacher needs to be evaluated every year, that how various places are dealing with that and how different ways of thinking about dealing with that becomes a really interesting thing for practitioners or readers of the journal to think about in terms of how someone else is handling it. Because we're all kind of swimming in the same soup as it were right now, and I think it's an important thing to be able to draw from situations maybe separate from our own local or even statewide condition to help understand that process of the evaluation. Finally, I think some of the key things that I would want to make sure that users and readers of this case were thinking about is, this case addresses the fact that in Ohio, you do not have to be an administrator to be an evaluator of teachers. That a teacher with a master's degree and certification as an evaluator from the state can be the evaluator of teachers. And it really got us thinking about this notion of teachers evaluating teachers. And we see that kind of self-evaluation, that group evaluating itself in the medical field. That is the role of the Bar Association within the legal profession to oversee and evaluate the work and the merit of the work of people within those professions. And for so long, the teaching profession has struggled to gain that same kind of professional footing. And it's an interesting notion that potentially using this policy move and this potential ability could help move teachers in that direction. It really is an interesting kind of notion, and one that I think is almost counterintuitive in the collective bargaining kind of space in those states that have teacher collective bargaining, because we know that union management relationships are naturally adversarial, and so there's certain hard lines that have been drawn, and so this allows for a softening of a line that has been drawn, that management evaluates workers, and this creates some interesting kinds of things that I think are rich for discussion, and really, ultimately, it starts to mirror what we do here in higher ed. We are, it is our peers that judge us and our work as we go through promotion and tenure and our annual review processes. Yes, administration is involved, but we have a large say in that process as well, and I think those are really important things to think about and consider in the K-12 setting.